Welcome to the Dana Grant Show, where heart-centered stories, authentic connections, real talk, and real action come together. I'm your host, Dana Grant. I'm a life coach, speaker, and believer in the boundless power within every one of us. Each week, we're diving into raw, transformative conversations that not only spark healing, but growth and unshakable clarity. Because you know what? Your story matters. Your voice deserves to be heard, and your purpose is waiting to be fully lived. You're in the right place. Let's begin. Welcome back to the Dana Grant Show, where we are focused on heart-centered conversations, and we have a queen in the house today. She is a queen of spirituality, of intuition, and you are going to want to take notes because this girl is dialed in. Welcome to the show, Christina Deering. I adore you. I love saying your name too, Christina Deering.
I just love you. I'm so excited to be here, to lean in with you, like to dance.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's dance. I always feel like I can hear music playing because we have so much fun together.
I know. I know. Your energy is like just one of those where you're just like, oh, like it's like we feed off of each other's energy. It's just
Oh
so
yeah.
much fun. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the party,
Thank you.
everybody. It's a Friday here in
Woo.
California. She's in Dallas. So yeah, we got ourselves a nice little energetic connection going on here that we're inviting the whole world in on,
Mhm,
which I love. So, hey, let's start with that. Energetic connections,
mhm,
intuition.
mm.
You know, I know that you were kind of the coin phrase of oh gosh, I said it and then it went right out of my head. Sorority girl
Turn
to
shaman.
to
Yeah.
shaman.
Uh-huh.
Sorority girl to shaman. What the what?
I
Talk to me.
know.
Talk to
I
me,
know.
girl.
I
Yeah.
know.
Let's
Uh
let's unpack that.
Super jarring for me too. Just
Yeah.
being like,
Yeah.
I was one of those people when I was younger where I feel like I was always everyone's friend and almost at the same time felt very
Mm,
lonely in that because I don't think I was
mm,
fully being myself. But I didn't have the tools to know who I was and to really lean into that. And so,
mm,
sorority girl, but there was always an element to like philanthropy. So I would be like
mm,
philanthropy chair. Like there was always an element of service
mm,
somehow intermixed in all of that. And, I started to have these really huge spiritual awakenings, and things would happen where I would be like, well, I can't unsee that. Like, I want to know more about that. That's really
yeah.
interesting. That's kind of just blowing my mind. And so I
Yeah.
went from, not feeling like I wasn't spiritually tapped in, although I was being given, signs. Now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so obvious. I just didn't know how to read it, or I kind of just turned it
Mm,
off. And then all of a sudden it was like blown open at the divine time for me to really utilize those gifts to better understand how can I use this to understand myself? How can I use this to support myself? How can I use this to now support other people now that
mhm,
I've done it with myself? Now that I can kind of embody what I just learned. And then through that, the journey of shamanism found me. My own
yeah.
shaman reached out to me and was like, you're being called into shamanism. And I remember being like, okay, that feels like a full body yes, but like, let me Google, like, what's a shaman? It like took
I
me.
was just gonna say for the people that are
Yeah.
listening and
Uh-huh.
don't know what that means, they might think guru.
Uh-huh.
Let's unpack that. What does it mean, and how do you show up in service as a shaman or shaw woman?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So to me, then there's many different facets of shamanism, but to
Mhm.
me, it means you're connecting to the spiritual realm and you're bringing down spiritual information or different spiritual modalities to support in Mother Earth in some way, or the people that are dwelling here in Mother Earth. So it's kind of like you're taking the spiritual realm, bringing it down into Mother Earth, and allowing for breakthroughs to happen, deeper ways of connecting with the soul
Mhm.
to kind of unfold in beautiful ways. So some people will do this through plant medicine. With me, it's more about like journeying through the mind, body, and spirit. Like we can
Mm,
experience that level of transformation without needing to ingest substances. And so that's the beauty of just being able to better understand your soul by connecting to the spiritual realm, to know like what is my purpose, what am I doing here, and how can I fully activate that in this lifetime.
So do you work with people like, say, a lot of shamans will do ayahuasca or some kind of, like you said, plant medicine that brings, or mushrooms, or I call them mushrooms. I'm sure there's another name for them, psychociliacy or something like that. But
Psilocybin, yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's just not my jam. It's not what I do. So, but is that utilized? Do you utilize that in your practices?
I don't. Currently, I don't. I don't know if that will change down the road, but for me,
Mhm.
I have found that you don't need it to have that massive transformation. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, why dabble in it if you can have that huge
Mm,
life altering moment and shift by just moving the energy and not needing to take something to kind of allow you to access that sort of information or breakthrough or whatever it is.
yeah.
I think the medicine is kind of helping you access it, but if you can be guided in to learn how to access it yourself, you don't need the substance or you don't need the medicine. The medicine is you. It's just like
Right.
it's a thing that you're taking to
Mm,
activate more of yourself. The medicine is ultimately you.
mm.
So you
I
don't need
like that. The medicine is you. I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. How can people access more intuition if they're
Mm,
feeling and listening to this and saying, I feel like I'm being called or there's something I'm not listening. How did you break through and really embrace and
yes.
make this really transition and full transformation?
Yes. So for me, it was all about using the body. So I was like very in my head
Mm,
for a very long time where I was just like, is that my ego? Is that my highest self? Is that a guide? So when I was trying to
mm,
access my intuition through my mind, it felt very confusing. I was questioning everything. So when I
mm,
started to tune into my body, I was like, does that feel expansive or is there something that feels constricting about something that I was just given? So like we'll kind of feel that energy. Let's say like we go on a first date and they look perfect on paper. So in your head, you're like, yeah, I should marry this person. And you're
mm,
like, oh, like I just feel closed off. My energy doesn't feel like it wants to like hang out with this person. That's your body, your intuition telling you that even though they're an incredible person, they're not
mm.
your person. And so
Right.
I believe there's an infinite amount of truths in this world. It's about what is your truth. And I
Mm,
believe that our body is a really powerful truth teller to say, does it feel expansive? Like, do I want to lean in? Is there something that I feel like almost like a deja vu? Or is there
mhm,
something that I'm just like, my chest feels tight, I have knots in my
mm,
stomach? That tells me that it's either a no or a no, not right now. Like, if I'm feeling
mm,
some closed off energy, and there's some nuances to this, but if I feel the closed off energy, I take a pause and I definitely say,
right,
like, let me tune in and really try to understand
right.
this. Now, I like to say, what is the first reaction? And then you can start to unpack the body too, because
Mm,
usually if we're doing something that feels soul aligned, but it also feels scary, we're going to be like we want to lean in, like we're excited, like there's something in it
mm,
that has us lean in. And it will then be coupled with but what if, but this and that. So it's about kind of
mm,
noticing the first reaction. And then
mhm,
there can be some moments of contraction because that's our ego saying, who are you to do that? Don't go after that. That's too big.
right.
That's where we unpack that. So it's just kind of differentiating that. But what's the first initial reaction to
Mhm.
someone sharing an idea with you or a possibility with you?
I like that. So let's take it a step further. Do you do any energy testing?
Mm, interesting. What do you mean by energy testing?
Well, there's the energy testing in the body. A lot of people use their arms and their
Mm,
truth.
got
It's
it.
it's kind of a truth teller. If it's the
Uh-huh.
truth or a lie, the body will respond to the truth.
Yes.
And there's other energy testing where let's go something really simple and easy without going into like a big quantum field. If I want to go to Costco and I
Mhm.
want a spot in front where I'm always going to get a great parking,
Uh-huh.
I will throw roses, the highest vibration in the universe. I just automatically do it now. It's like foo, foo,
Uh-huh.
doo, 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 doo,
Yeah.
boom, and I always get, so we energetically clear the way with the
Oh,
energy,
yes.
a higher vibrational energy, but our body can also be energy tested to see if things feel true. If we are second guessing and we're
Yeah.
like we feel it, but boy, they're so believable and we, because let's face it, even as intuitives, I think that my biggest lessons have been from not trusting
Oh,
my
yeah.
intuition.
Same.
So now trusting it feels quite different. But I remember when I started through that process, I was energy testing. Does this feel right? And it was amazing how the body will respond to that energy testing. And
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yes. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
So, yes. So sometimes I'll do like the sway. I'll kind of see how my body sways, but I
yeah.
think it's
Move forward or back. Yeah.
yes, I think it's important to dial it in based on your truth. So I'll ask it a
Yeah.
yes or no question to see how it
Yeah.
sways first, whether it falls forward, backwards. And then from there, I'll know, okay, now I'll ask the question. But
Hmm.
I like to get kind of specific with my questions because sometimes it's
Yeah.
like you'll ask the question and it's like, yes, you should marry this person in 10
Mhm.
years, but
Yeah.
like you didn't
Be
add like a little
specific.
timeline.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I
If
think
you're out there energy testing people, be specific.
yeah, being more specific can be helpful because sometimes it's like a yes, and the timing isn't now, but you haven't asked it in that way.
Mm.
So things like, does it make sense to, or it's for my highest good and the highest good of all those connected to me and of the
Mhm.
highest vibration to
Mhm.
price my offer at XYZ now, right? So it's kind of
Mhm.
like, yeah, one day you should price that at $1 million, but maybe let's get your body on board with that in the interim. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
think adding a little timing is there's power in that to kind of tune in and say, what
Mm.
am I available for right now, and what's kind of right on the cusp? What am I being
Right.
guided into?
You
Yeah.
know, that trips me into something where I work with a lot of women that play the waiting game.
Mm.
Like, "Oh, I feel like I can do it, but not yet. I'm
Mm.
gonna wait." So how can you identify when people are waiting too much
Mhm.
and because it's not yet, but they feel it, they've called it in, it's on their quantum field, but they're not gonna activate it because they
Uh-huh.
just don't. How do you identify whether it's a go
Uh-huh.
or they're frightened and they're waiting because
Yes.
that's an old story of some form of sabotage?
Uh-huh. So I have this exercise that I channeled. It's called the 7-figure shift. I'm happy to gift it to anyone who's tuning in.
Mm.
And this is where you normalize success in your body. So if you have tuned in and you're like, "Oh, I want to do that thing and that feels good." This is where I think it's a powerful way to kind of tune in is you've seen the vision. Now you have to make it feel safe in your body or you will never go after it. That time, that divine time might never
Mm.
come because you don't feel safe to take a step forward. Your ego
Right.
is kind of asking you to step back in. So I have this way of kind of guiding people through this exercise where what you're doing is you're visualizing the thing that you want and you're telling your body that it's safe to go after it. So
Mhm.
now, what I would say after that experience, after you walk through the exercise, you're feeling the safety in your
Right.
body. Now tune in and say, does it feel like the divine time? Or does it feel
Yeah.
like maybe there is something else here? Because now what you've done is you've kind of moved the ego out of the way, you've moved the fear out of the way. You feel like,
Right.
okay, that's normal. But
Yeah.
now you can really tune in and dial in to say, like, but is this actually the right time? It's gonna be it's gonna tell the truth more than anything once you feel the safety.
Oh, I love that. And I'm going to add to that because it's been scientific. I'm such a scientific geek with
I
numbers.
love it.
It has been scientifically proven that by utilizing the word and saying the word success
Mm,
over and over again normalizes it, and you're more apt to be successful if you
mm,
utilize the word success throughout your day
mm.
versus your relationship to success maybe feeling not successful yet, but utilizing that, normalizing that will actually will increase your level of success by 70%. And I'm like, use success as often as you can
Yes.
in every area of
Okay.
your life, in every
That
area.
sounds like a success. I'm
Yeah.
going to just start using that every
Yeah.
day.
I am very successful at making my tea exactly the way I
Yes.
want it all
I
day long.
love this. Okay. Cheers to that. Huge
Yeah, so
success on the
there we
way.
go. Cheers to our little monks. But
Mhm.
they people have to. I think it's a relationship to success. It's
Yeah.
their relationship to spirituality,
Yeah.
intuitive. It's like they gauge it and
Mhm.
instead of embracing it. So
Mhm.
that being said, what is the best way for them to break through if someone's listening and just saying, "Boy, I just don't have any intuition. I just
Mm.
make all the wrong moves," or "I have some intuition, but I never trust it." What are some easy ways to start tuning in and vibrating to where they can actually hear and be guided? And what usually gets in the way for most
Mm.
people?
That's such a great question. The mind will get in the way all day long. So I always find, I mean, the saying is, those that don't have time to meditate should definitely meditate today. There's like, you know what I mean? There's like to quiet the mind is going to
Yeah.
allow you to tune in a little bit more. I think just being in the present moment allows
Mm,
you to be a little more dialed in to what feels true for you versus not. When we have so much going on in the
mm.
head, we're not going to be familiar with how we're feeling in our body. So that exercise I told you about before, the expansive energy, the constriction,
Yeah.
if we're kind of like disembodied, disassociated, it's going to be harder to kind of tune in to say, like, is that my intuition or not? So the more present we
Mm.
can be, the more dialed in we can be, the more we can kind of quiet the mind in different ways, whether it's meditating, whether it's just sitting here and being a little more present to what are
Yeah.
5 things in my room that I see that are green. And it's just like, can I be here now? Because the only way to
Mm.
access the truth is here in the now. And so it's really important to kind of tune in. And then I would say once you feel that grounded energy, even if it's something like my favorite go to, breathe in through the nose for 2 counts, exhale out of the mouth for 4 counts. And do that as
Yeah.
many times as you need to feel grounded and rooted in your body. And then I'll start to kind of tune into what am I feeling. And
Mm.
so when I first started, I would actually, because my ego got really loud, I would actually flip a coin. And what I would do was I would say, okay, heads, I go on the trip, tails, I don't go on the trip. And I would ground myself and then I would flip the coin. And then whatever it landed on, it wasn't what it was
Mhm.
saying, it was what is my reaction to what it's
Mm,
saying? Like, what am I feeling in my body? So it's like, go on the
right.
trip, and my whole body is like, I just want to sleep. Right? Maybe
Yeah.
there's like a part of me that's like, but I
Yeah.
just need to like just
Yeah.
lay for the next like 10 days or a year and a half.
Mm,
Like there's something that my body's telling me that's like, I don't need to
yeah.
add an extra thing to the calendar. That is your response, not what the coin is telling you. And so I
Right.
think that's another way to kind of start to tune in, but we have to be grounded in some way, shape, or form to access any sort of information.
Right. Oh, I love that. I love that. So what is the best way to stay, to let's reframe that. Energetic blocks.
Mm.
How do we know if we have them? If we have an energetic block? If people don't know what energetic blocks are, maybe describe what an energetic block could feel like, and how do we know if we have them?
Yeah, I love this. And this is something that I help my clients move every single day because we all have them. And a lot of times we have blinders on. We're just kind of going through life. And that's where I find a guide of some kind. My healer is on retainer because I too, even though I heal people all day long or I support them in healing themselves, is really what's happening. But
Mm.
when I'm in my moment, sometimes it's harder to see the 3,000 foot view because I'm in the experience. And so often what that will look like is procrastination. It'll show up as anxiety. It will show up as just deep emotions that are finally coming to the surface. I mean, that's how you're actually starting to move
Mm.
it, which I find so beautiful. So I always say the triggers are the guides. The things that are triggering you right
Mm.
now are not that thing. It's the what's the 12 layers under that thing. And that's the
Mhm.
energetic block. That is the root from where it
Mm.
started. And so it's not about the my husband did this and now I'm angry. It's like a
Right.
when was the first time that that happened that you remember where you felt that sort of way? Let's
Right.
go there. Let's start to move the energy there. And, I think that's really, really powerful. Things like the Akashic Records, they help all of those dormant memories come to the surface. It's something I love, a tool that I love to dig into for people that can't actually remember or access those sort of information. It starts to come to
Mhm.
the surface. I channel the information through, they feel it in their body, then we just move it through different modalities. It's really powerful.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love that. So how would that help, the emotional wounds that you're talking about? That's the core wound and the core fear that shows up that you're going back to that emotional, that core wound. Um, for entrepreneurs, how they're showing up and carrying it in their business.
Mm,
I always say there's a direct correlation between personal development and business development. They're just it just can't be separated. How do you see it showing up in the I'm not going to say maybe workforce, maybe not just entrepreneurs, just
mhm.
showing up and how we communicate with the world and how can you help them clear that and connect and maybe drop into a deeper desire that they may not know is there. I hope that
Mhm.
question was clear because that was kind of a, a different route that I took to get there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is so true. I think some of uh, the biggest portals for transformation is parenthood and also
Mm,
the workforce, being in business,
mm,
like how you're showing up, because the way that you show up in any container is the way that you're showing up in all containers. And so I think
right.
it's really important for us to start to notice where am I stepping out of my leadership? Where am I giving my power away? Where am I feeling upset by other people? Where am I saying, you did this? It's not, like where am I kind of pointing fingers? And
Yeah.
I always say, if you recognize the fact that you are sourcing literally everything, this gives you your power back. Why did I call in
Mm,
this experience that's deeply triggering me? Oh, because it's
mm,
allowing me to access this part of myself that's been blocked.
mm.
Amazing. I'm so grateful I called in this experience, even though it was deeply triggering, because now it's
Yeah.
allowing me to see this part of myself that I couldn't access before. And the
Right.
triggers are very loud so that we look at them. And so I think it's really, really, really
Mm,
important to say, like, the triggers are not the bad guys. They're actually saying, like, please look at this so you access your next level of freedom. And so I always say, like,
mm,
in parenthood, in how we're
mhm.
showing up as leaders in our jobs, CEOs, right? Like, where
Yeah.
are you starting to give your power away? Where are you finding yourself deeply frustrated so that you can really tune in and say, what is this teaching me about the stories that I've collected and I'm operating from? And are these actually serving me?
Right. Beautiful. What is the number one mistake do you see that when business owners are trying to grow that they may repeat, or it's like a tick that I see. But what do you see the number one mistake when they're starting to break open and starting to understand that they may go back to doing?
Mhm. Building it in alignment with someone else's blueprint. Like people are
Mm,
hiring coaches and mentors all the time, and these mentors are saying, build it this way,
yeah.
post 12 times a day across social media platforms. And it's like, that's one way to build success or grow a social media platform or XYZ, but is that in alignment with your soul? Because ultimately, you're building something that you have to show up for every single day now. And is that in alignment with you? So I remember when I first quit corporate and I started to lean into my coaching business, I was like, I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And I was like, man, why am I so tired? Like I'm just like I'm over giving and I don't have time and space to really think about the big vision. And I
Right.
realized it's because I was bought into that corporate culture of like you work these hours, you work these days, and that's what life looks like. And I was like, what if there's another way to do that that would actually allow me to show up more powerfully for my clients and kind of shift the way that I'm doing this? And now I've got my CEO days where it really allows me to think big vision, right? And really connect to what's most important for scaling and really self
Mm,
actualizing. Like, this is a
mhm.
way for you to fully self actualize your gifts and to give back into the collective. So, when we're building someone else's quote unquote gifts or ways that they came here to build, it's such a disservice to the way that your heart and soul wants to express itself. So I would
Yeah.
say that one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is just copying and pasting business strategies and
Yeah.
being like, why am I so tired? Why don't I want to show up? It's because you built someone else's business.
So important. That is so what you just said, I think is just it's so important, so key to the next level. And so how do people know when they're ready for the next level?
Yeah. Uh, we're always creating. And I think we have seasons of creating and showing up and then creating and showing up.
Mhm.
And I think when you get those creative juices flowing, that
Mhm.
is your highest self telling you there's something more for you. Like there's something you
Mm,
want to build. Like when you get really excited about something like launching the podcast or
mm,
a new offer or a new way of being of service, that is your expansion in action. Start to follow the breadcrumbs. I think so
mm.
often we're like, I need the whole loaf. What is this going to look like? What is it going to
Yeah.
taste like? It's like, no, follow the little breadcrumbs. Like, this is taking you to the next thing that's taking you to the next thing. And it's all going to make sense. So you're building it in
Mm,
real time. Enjoy that process and just
mm.
allow for that to start to unfold. And honestly, we're always evolving, but I think we have these seasons of like really expanding into next level versions of self when we get the excited feeling to build
Yeah.
something new.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So, you know, you said what it means to scale in alignment with your soul,
Mm.
not at the cost of it. Expand on
Yes.
that.
Yeah. So, our soul came here to build something so unique. And I believe we all came here to fully self actualize in whatever way that looks like. And I think
Mhm.
it's such a gift when we align our purpose with the way that we're experiencing abundance. Like when we're leaning in and we're of service, it's like that is such a high frequency. You are attracting in
Mm.
the money, the support, the time, all of the things that you need to really self
All the things.
actualize. And so when we tune in and we say, what feels most in alignment with me? Like, what would excite me the most and how I'm showing
Mhm.
up? When we fully tune into that and lean into that, that is where I believe the most success flows. And I've tested this. I've noticed like when I'm launching something, I get really in tune with how does that feel in my body to do this thing or to do that thing. For
Mhm.
instance, I remember one of my most successful launches. I remember getting this ping. It was like 8 p.m. at night, 9 p.m. at 9 p.m. at night, and it was like you should send out those emails. And I was like, I'm so tired though. Do I really need to send out the emails? And I got this immediate download that was like, have everything that you do with this launch feel energetically revitalizing. Don't do the
Mhm.
things that feel heavy, put those down and lean into the things that feel exciting. And that was my most successful launch because what I was doing is I was tuning into what excited me, which was one
Yeah.
on one connections,
Yeah.
sharing it on video, just letting myself be excited and sharing that excitement. And people were like, I want to lean into that. So I
Mm.
think there's so much power in saying, like, put down the thing that feels heavy and fully go all in on the thing that feels so expansive and light and exciting to you, because that is what people are leaning into is your energy behind the thing that you're doing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. We're just you're just in the house speaking my language. I love all
Love
this. It's like it's just jazzing me up.
it.
So people that feel stuck and unfulfilled. So here they are, they're on the track. I
Yeah.
always say that people don't get stuck, situations do, but people don't,
Mhm.
they're never stuck.
Beautiful.
But
Yeah.
what do you say to those people that are feeling stuck, unfulfilled,
Yes.
and they want more connection? They want to feel, like you said, that flow, that abundance, that
Mhm.
joy. Man, I love what I do.
Yes. So I was that person. I was in marketing for 15 years. And I remember at 22, when I first started working in marketing, being like, oh no, I want to retire and I'm
Mm,
22. Like, that's a problem. I've got like some years ahead of me where I want to like lean in and make some money. And I remember being like, oh, what do I do with this though? Because this is what I've studied. I can't go back. I'm too old to do something new. How cute
mm,
that a 22-year-old is thinking she's too old, right? I
yeah.
look back and I just want to give her the biggest hug. I'm like, oh, I just love you. And so it's so interesting because what I realized was what I needed was to start to, again, like I said, follow those breadcrumbs, take a class, start to like just
Mm,
tune in to
lean
learning
in.
something new, buy a book. The goal is get inspired in the way that you feel most inspired. So whether that is being around people that are teaching you something. We have
Mm,
access to so many courses online now, or teachers or mentors. Like if you
yeah,
resonate with someone, work with that person, better
yeah.
understand yourself. My biggest, I would say, catalyst to really stepping into what I do now full time is uh, being in these spaces with coaches, with healers, with psychics, with mediums, like
Mm,
just letting my, because I found that interesting. I wanted
mm,
to learn the trade of doing those things and holding sacred spaces. And I got certified in all these things because I found it interesting. How does
mm,
breath work support in breakthroughs? How does Reiki support? And so I just went down these like
yeah,
beautiful rabbit holes that got me excited for life, where
yeah.
I was like, even if I just do this with myself, which I knew that wasn't going to happen, I knew it was going to be me and the collective, but I was like, even if I just do this for myself, I feel so fulfilled by honoring this curiosity. So keep following what is making you feel
Mm,
curious. There's something there for you. It's kind of like itching you for a
mm,
reason, like follow the scratch, like allow yourself to scratch it, lean in. Mhm.
brilliant, brilliant. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I just feel this is so, there's so many gold nuggets here that
Mhm.
I think that people should like hit rewind and replay on several of the places, because it's like it's not a one and done. It's just keep
Yeah.
listening and being and committed to this process,
Yeah.
and being intuitive. It's a commitment to the process of trust, of
Yes.
trusting yourself over and over again. It's building that new muscle. So tell me, Christina, what feels like love in your life right now?
Ah, that's such a beautiful question. You know, being outside has suddenly, it's like Mother Earth is like calling me back. Like for
Mm.
me, being outside, I've set this now like 40-day intention where every single day I'm going to go outside and I'm going to do some sort of nervous system regulation. And that feels so
Mm,
nourishing to me because I'm basically going outside and I'm being so present in the moment where I'm
mm,
hearing the birds chirp and I'm feeling my bare feet on the earth and I'm taking deep breaths and like I'm hearing my dog running and I'm hearing my
mm,
son right next to me. And it's just what it's doing is it's having me feel really grounded and rooted in the now, in my body, and what feels most in alignment. And
mm,
just taking those moments of pause, for me, that feels like love because I'm just fully activating this deep connection with Mother Earth, with my
yeah.
body, and kind of how, as this single point of consciousness between heaven and earth, I can access, the spiritual realm and Mother Earth, and how can I access all of that within this body?
Wow. What's
Mhm.
next for you? What do you got going on? Where can people find you?
I
Where's
love
your
it.
hub? Where do you like to
Yes.
hang out?
Yay, I love this. So, I've got my podcast, You Unlimited. I absolutely love it. You've been in that space. It was one of my
Oh,
favorite
brilliant.
episodes. I love that we got to do it in person. It was
I
so much
know.
fun.
It was
Yes, the energy.
magical.
It was.
Your podcast is magical. It's always illuminating.
Yeah.
If I could say one word, it would be
Mhm.
illuminating.
Yeah. And I love it because I always set the intention that it's going to be the medicine that people are most desiring to lean into at that time. So I always say use
Mm,
your intuition when you're looking at the titles. Which one feels most exciting? There's
yeah.
medicine there for you, there's a
Yeah.
golden nugget. So,
Yeah.
You Unlimited podcast with Christina Deering, that's one of my favorite places to play. Of course, I've got my one on one clients and I've got my mastermind, my Transcendence Mastermind. And you can find me across social platforms at I am Christina Deering. Just always sharing downloads there, channeled information, inspiration. It's a fun place to play. I used to pull cards and wear wigs. When I did that, it was Wigging Out Wednesdays on Instagram. I
Oh, I love that. Oh, how did I miss
yeah.
that?
I
Wigging out
know.
Wednesdays. I want to play with some wigs.
Okay, I think that I need to bring this back. I've
Oh,
been
I
getting
think so. Maybe we should do a live and I'll do a wig too. You
oh my
and
gosh,
maybe
let's
and
do
maybe
this.
oh, we I think we just might have manifested something. That would be so much fun. And then
Yes.
maybe we do like a reading. I don't know, bouncing off energy. And
Uh-huh.
as I say that, I look down and the card is sitting sideways. I'm like, did I hit that? But I got the goddess card.
Let's go. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
she's the
Yeah.
goddess card of Bonte, who is this prosperity. And
Yeah.
I'm wearing, it's a goddess card, and I'm wearing the goddess queen shirt. So I don't know. I look for signs. You said so many signs today of alignment. It just was, I could hear things go boom, boom,
Yes.
boom. And I'm hoping that our listeners heard that too. If it
Yeah.
speaks to you, don't ignore the signs.
Yes.
So much wisdom in your growth and your experience in how
Mhm.
you're showing up, and you do it with such grace and clarity. I have
Thank
always loved how you show up with this flow that I feel,
you.
and it's always called me in. I can hear it, that flow and vibration and that frequency that you choose, and I think that you really deliberately choose it, which I love. So Wigging Out Wednesday, I love that. Yeah, find her out there on the gram. My daughters, I said, don't say the
I
gram
love
anymore. The
it.
gram.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instagram
Yes.
and yeah, connect with her. We'll have all of your links below. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't talked about?
I just want to say thank you for holding this sacred space for people to just
Oh,
tune in and experience a different perspective or like that golden nugget, that piece of wisdom that people are just looking for to make their life easier. And I just feel like I'm so grateful because we're all just walking each other home. And when we can lean into spaces where intentions are pure and we're just wanting to support each other and see each
yeah.
other in our highest vibration and light, it's such a testament to the spaces that you create everywhere that you walk. I mean, you just walking into a room lights that room up even more beautifully. And so I know that all of the people that are tuning in are the exact
Yeah.
same. They're the incredible light beings that are just so tuned in to their magic and wanting to create more and more from their most authentic self. So I'm just
Oh, I love
grateful to
that.
be here and this was so much fun. Thank you.
Well, I'm grateful for you because you are one of those frequencies that are
Mhm.
out there and light workers in the world that are holding space for, and I said this last year that I feel a transition and a shift happening, the
Mm,
people that will hold space and expand.
yes.
And I think we're losing the hustle mentality
Yeah.
and the competitive mentality into
Mhm.
this more is, it's like the boats, we're all going to rise with that tide. And
Yes.
the more we can help and the more we that succeed, the
Mhm.
more I'm fulfilled. It
Yes.
is there just doesn't feel like there's any competition out there. It feels like if we just are constantly lighting as many candles as we can, and it illuminates so brightly. And
Mhm.
I see that so clearly,
Me
as
too.
probably as inarticulate as I said it, but I was visualizing as well. I'm
Yes, I was
visualizing
seeing it.
all the
I was
light.
seeing it
Can
too.
you see
Yes.
that? I see that. I'm seeing the light. Oh,
Yes.
thank you for being here. I adore you. I can't wait to see you in person again. And
Same.
for all of you today, please follow Christine Deering out there. You're not going to regret it. She's going to bring back Wiggy Wednesday and pull her cards. I can feel it. I can
I
feel
love
it. And I love how playful, creative, and how you show up so authentically and you claim your power, which is
it. Mm,
so important to pay that forward. When you do it, you give other women permission to do it.
mhm,
And yeah, we can't ask for more than that, can we?
mm. So true. I love it. Thank you so much. This is so much fun.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the Dana Grant Show. And we look forward to connecting with you on the next episode.